What's going on, everybody?
It's Whataweeb.
And today, we got something special. Something that a lot of people have been talking about just because it just came out. You guys already know what it is. It's in the freaking title. But before we get into our little review of the Death Note movie,
Live action
movie, remember to leave a like and subscribe right below. Click that subscribe button right below us. And let's get straight into this, Esther. So we had both watched it pretty much today. I watched it a little bit earlier in the day, and Esther watched it a little later. We let it sink in for a couple hours. So we watched it Sunday, and I think we both had slightly different opinions on the movie in general. So I'll let Esther start off.
Okay. First of all, I don't think it was that bad. It wasn't that bad. Overall thoughts, not bad. For an hour and a half, I think they stuck to the main points of the story relatively well. Light was still moderately light-like, and the Shinigami, Ryuk did not play as much of a part, which made me slightly sad. I liked their Ryuk's and Light's interactions a lot, but we didn't get to see too much of it, so that was one of my biggest complaints. But I understand that you'd only get like an hour and a half to do it, so you have to pick and choose what you want. The introduction of the second Shinigami, whose name escapes me, the one that goes with Mia, I don't remember her, but she wasn't in. She was probably one of my preferred characters. But once again, can't really do anything about that. You gotta pick and choose. And overall, no, not overall. I liked Mia. Mia did stay true to her character. She was very devoted towards Light throughout the entire span of the story, which was good, but she wasn't blonde, so that was probably my only thing that I didn't like about it. Plus, she didn't wear that gothic get up that she does in the anime. And then the dad and L, I think they did. I was weirded out with L being black. I'm gonna say that, but he was really good. He portrayed L very well. But the scriptwriters, I don't think. Well, at the very end, I think they didn't portray L correctly. But then again, it's only based on. It's not supposed to be exactly like. But the story fell basically completely. It was just sort of really open-ended of an ending. So that was one thing that I wasn't too sure was going to happen. I'm not too sure if they're actually going to make a second adaptation. But overall, if it is the first one, then I really like it. If it's the one and only, it's somewhere below 7 and above 5.
All right, yeah. So me and Esther kind of came to the same conclusion of how we felt about the movie, but for kind of different reasons. I personally did not like Light or Mia. I feel like Light was not Light until the last 10 minutes where he's like, yeah, this is all my master plan. And because the whole thing with Light, at least for me personally, whenever I watched and read Death Note, was that he becomes very cocky, especially once he gets to Death Note. He becomes super cocky. But in my opinion, what happened was that they kind of split that Light personality into both Mia and then Light. Because Mia would be the one who wanted to kill everybody, while Light's like, no, we gotta stay true to the what we're trying to do. We're trying to get this done, etc. But I didn't really like Mia for that reason, because she was supposed to be helplessly in love with Light, and they did that in the beginning. And then she takes the book from him, and that kind of breaks all trust. Yeah. So Mia would never do that. She would die for Light.
Yeah, but they were trying to also put her, because she also had some implications to progress the story like it was in the anime, because she didn't have the second Death Note. She needed some way to do it.
Either way, hey, I didn't interrupt when you were talking. Let me finish.
No, I just had to put that in there. You could have. I wanted you to say it. It's a discussion. Done. It's a discussion. I had to throw that in there.
Let me state my discussion part first. I didn't say anything during your part. Let me say it's a big movie. Let me talk about it.
It's an hour and a half. It's not a big movie.
I did not like Mia. Just because, yeah, I get it. I get it was an hour and a half movie. Okay, cool. But I did not like her as a character person. Because she kind of just, first of all, she was never focused on that much. She just pop in, have a big role, pop out, go back to Light doing whatever he's doing. So, as a standalone movie, that's fine. I don't really care. But if you're comparing her to Misa from Death Note, the actual character, I think there's enough differences for people to be annoyed at. Same thing with Light. When it comes to L, I personally loved L. I loved L from Death Note. Obviously, you know, the little quirky, not black, but spiky-haired, messy guy. You know, never slept. You know, like, but I have to give it to them though. You know, that L never had any emotion, so you never really got to feel L as a character. He never really developed. He was already fully developed when you meet him in the manga and anime, and then he dies. Spoiler.
Spoiler.
So, but in the movie, I really liked how they did him. You know, he does have that personality. He still has all of those deductive skills. He doesn't really show too much emotion, except he does have a crutch. That's how it usually is. Most humans have some sort of crutch that keeps them grounded, especially with L's scenario. In my opinion, he was more near than L because of the whole orphanage scenario. We never knew where L came from. You know, we never got that information. But we do know Nier was part of an orphanage that was meant to make more god detectives like L. So they kind of combined Nier and L in that case. This L in the movie was also much more, you know, emotional, especially with Watari, aka Hanzo. If you guys didn't know, he actually is the voice of Hanzo. So, fun fact there.
I didn't know that. Thank you for telling me.
Yeah. So, once we saw that and we saw him kind of snap, we saw that normal L facade drop. You know, we got to see the other side of L, and I thought they did a great job with that personally. I didn't care that he was black and he wasn't white or whatever. I didn't care about any of that. A lot of people are like yelling still that, oh, he's a black L, L's white or Asian. It's like, who freaking cares? This man played the role well. This man played the role really well.
I think. Like, I know you liked him having emotion, but like, I always thought that he was supposed to be like this sort of fragile, weak. Well, he did have some acrobatics, but I didn't think he had endurance like he was showing in the live action. But
this man played a full tennis match with Light in the manga.
Has it been that long? I thought he was like wheezing at the end.
They both played a full match. They were both tired, same time tired. So he's at least at Light's level of physical activity. And let's be honest, Light did not look like someone who was physically active in this movie. I don't know who played him, but he did not look like someone in the best shape of his life. Just saying.
Well, Al looked a lot better for a guy who just stays up 31 hours.
And this, but like I like the whole Watari aspect. Watari was cool. They added that rule to Death Note, which I wasn't really too sure about, the 2-day rule, because I remember in the manga or anime that Light would be doing these things more than 2 days in advance.
Yeah, I thought it was 2 weeks.
Yeah, at least I thought it was like a month or something. But so they did change up a bunch of rules and stuff, which was fine. You know, that's perfectly fine. Once again, like you said, it's based off of it, not actually just a retelling of it. So they cut corners where they did. There's a lot of characters that we don't need. Actually, after watching this, I was like, wow, there's a lot of characters I didn't need because they get introduced to die like 2 weeks later. So
I like the other Shinigami, whose name I can't forget. Whose name I can't remember, but
I can't remember it either. But like, I like that Shinigami too. But if you're gonna cut something, that's something you gotta cut. That's a lot of screen time then, because then you have to get the full development of Mia, and because she was supposed to develop because of Light. But if they had 2 separate developments for both of them, they probably would have had to even rush it even more. So I get where they came from. Everybody who's hating on the film, I understand where you're coming from. Look, it's not a good movie any sense of the imagination. Especially that last part when they're falling out of the freaking Ferris wheel in slow motion. I'm like, what the heck is this?
That took a long time, I feel like.
Yeah, that was just like, why?
That was excessive.
Yeah. I mean, I love Ryuk like slicing the Ferris wheel and everything. Ryuk, like Vanessa said, best. Him and L are the best 2 parts of this entire movie. So, don't be one of those. I don't think you can. I don't think you can just judge this movie without watching it. Though.
Yeah.
So anybody saying don't, I heard it's bad, and you haven't watched it, you have to at least give it that shot.
Not enough interaction with Ryu. Still.
Yes, but coming from if I look at it as a standalone movie, and coming from myself who has Death Note background and I know it, I can kind of fill in a lot of the holes as the movie goes. So it wasn't that bad. I've seen worse live actions, like live
Dragon Ball.
action. Yeah, Dragon Ball Evolution, whatever it's called, Evolution.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen worse live actions. A live action will never be good as the anime. It's proven fact. The Japanese will not like it if Hollywood does it. People will not like it if Hollywood does it because they'll have different characters, be it white, black, blue, green, whatever.
Who cares?
Yeah, but like honestly, as me, I don't care. Like I know the story of Death Note already. It's a great story. They're doing their version of it. That's fine. People just gotta understand this is their version of the story, and they stayed as true as they could, but within an hour and a half time frame. But yeah, it's definitely. I think you can agree too, right? And that's definitely something that you have to watch before you can just be like,
yeah.
Like it. Because I remember like, when I was telling you that we gotta watch it, like, ugh. I was like, but you gotta give it a shot. You gotta give it a shot.
No, yeah, I gave it a shot, and I think my only real valid complaint I know is the time, which I don't understand why they only put themselves for an hour and a half. There wasn't nearly as much tension between L and Light as it should be. Mm-hmm. Like, at least in the manga anime, like when Light had to work for L and that whole like God knows how many chapters and episodes, that was probably I think one of the best sort of chapters in anime that I've read in a while. But that wasn't present. I felt like that was probably the one thing they shouldn't have skipped out on because
it's also a different audience. You have to think about it like that. You can't really go ask a high schooler to work with the FBI.
Right.
Like at least that's common in a lot of anime and manga and stuff because it's a fake world. But if you're trying to portray it in the real world, it kind of just looks weird.
I mean, it's a fucking Shinigami. Who cares about realism?
I know,
at that
but
point?
like they were trying to keep it like more mature / adult. Like it's a Western audience, right?
Oh yeah, that's why we got to see a softcore porn.
Yeah, and his dad was done really well though. So his dad
was perfectly like the anime. So
the only reason he's not one of the best parts of the anime is because he doesn't have that much of a role until like the end where he realizes everything. So they do leave it open ended, like you said. Nothing.
Humans are interesting.
Yeah, I mean that was a very Ryuk thing. There's one thing that I also didn't like that when Ryuk killed all the FBI agents. Well, he didn't kill it, but Mia got them. He helped Mia kill them. It was kind of like
Mia stole a page of the book. So.
Yeah, and
then she tasered him, and I was like, what? Other Shinigami was supposed to do that.
Yeah, so they were kind of like speeding that up, rushing it. It didn't explain a lot until the end. Like Light's, the thing with Light though, you're usually privy to his thoughts in the manga or an anime, so you know what he's going to be doing. Even when he's captured in the prison, he's thinking of a way to escape, and you know what he's trying to do. In this case, it was like kind of yeah, I just pulled this out of nowhere. Like you think wow, RNG until the end where he's like, yeah, I wrote this all out. But he did. The thing is, they did something that Light didn't do in the manga or anime. They kept Light kind of true to, like, even the people who he had help him were like, murderers, rapists, whatever, and he had them kill themselves afterwards. That's the people he had help him. He was not targeting people who were not evil or criminals. But in the manga and anime, he gets that super cockiness, and he does think of himself as a god, full-on god. So he starts killing people who are just threats. He kills the FBI agents. He kills was it FBI in the manga? It was that Japanese squad. He kills everybody in the Japanese squad. He's responsible for all of that. But in the live action, he stays true to that ideal he had ever since the beginning, which is good for a movie type scenario.
Yeah, he remains sort of like the good guy throughout. So, and he had the the inner conflict throughout the entire thing is like, throughout the entire thing, he with Mia, we can't be doing this. We're no longer the good guys. We have to stop. And it was just Mia playing devil's advocate at that point.
Yeah, Mia was playing like the future cocky Light, pretty much.
Yeah, so there was no change to the character.
Also, Light never loved Mia. Misa in the manga. Light never loved her. He wouldn't have done any of that unless he was trying to get something out of it. Because, if she wrote his name in the book, he would have just wrote, she will pull this page out, burn it, and kill herself. He would have just done that, straight up. He wouldn't have made this full, complicated thing. He would have straight up deaded her. As soon as thing. So it was an interesting take on the entire thing. They took a lot of aspects from the whole part of Death Note and kind of combined them into different parts, like the Nier and L thing. So like I can't really say that L was L because he was more Nier. He was really just more Nier, origin story wise, and then Nier's.
Yeah, the second half was closer to him. So.
Yeah, so L was more so Nier. They just used L because that's the big name, that's the big one. But Nier's character is probably more interesting for them to use. So.
Mm-hmm. But anyways,
yeah, let's just wrap this up then. Yeah,
I think that's about all I can say about it. As if it was attempting to portray the anime, I would give it a 3 at best. But as it's standalone based on the anime manga, I would give it a 6.5 out of 10.
As a standalone, I give it a 5. That's 5.5 maybe. Just because
I'm just trying to be.
I'm trying to be less biased because like I was filling in blanks while it was going on. If somebody just came in to watch this, I think it'd be pretty tough because things would be going so freaking fast and you wouldn't know why.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only reason I'm thinking of it as somebody who would come into this without any Death Note knowledge. I give it a 5 because it's really bad in that sense. But if you do have some Death Note knowledge, it'll be like 5.56 because 1, you'll hate it more because it's not Death Note. 2, you'll be able to fill in the gaps as you go in.
I did like the cinematography, by the way, guys.
Huh? Oh yeah, the cinematography is pretty nice. That running scene with Light and L, I like that a lot.
Yeah, that was really good, even though I didn't think it was supposed to happen, but it did. They did a really good job.
The slow motion part was awful. That's at the end though. That part was awful.
No, but that's always awkward. Slow motion, even in Inception, it was sort of weird.
I know, but it was like falling, slow motion. I'm just like,
fall.
Like
Inception had that for like 5 minutes, but people think it's a masterpiece. But anyways, music was adequate. I didn't hate it, didn't love it. It was in the middle, average.
I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was like a 7.5 for music actually. I actually liked it. I liked how it went with the scenes properly.
But yeah, that's about all I could say about that movie. So if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that like button. It really does mean a lot. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, if you want to see more content from us, comment down below what you thought of the movie as well as our reviews, how much you agree, how much you disagree. We like to read those kinds of comments as well as the description below. Follow us on our social media. Dirk, any last words?
Yeah, well, all I can say is that you guys should all give this movie a shot. That's it, just give it a shot. See how it is. It's just on Netflix. Everybody has Netflix. Watch it. Just give it a shot. Then complain.
Yeah, an hour and a half. It's not that bad. But anyways, this has been Anester.
This has been Derka.
And Sayonara.